We'll start in the United States, where the Democratic National Convention has been underway in Chicago. After Jill and Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton on Monday, former President Barack Obama was the star turn on day two. Alongside his wife, Michelle Obama, he gave a resounding endorsement of Kamala Harris and attacked Donald Trump. Mr. Obama told delegates that America was ready for a new chapter with Ms. Harris as president. He highlighted her history as a prosecutor, going after big banks and child sexual abusers. In contrast, he said Donald Trump saw power as nothing more than a means to his own ends. Mr. Obama said the world would be safer if Kamala Harris won the election in November. His address followed remarks by Michelle Obama and Donald Trump's former press secretary, Stephanie Grisham. Arise international correspondent Faith Orr reports from Chicago.
He is the headliner among headliners, especially in Chicago. Who else compares to Barack Obama in this city? And he took full advantage of that, telling delegates at the DNC they had a fight on their hands.
I am feeling ready to go. Even if I am the only person stupid enough to speak after Michelle Obama. I am feeling hopeful because this convention has always been pretty good to kids with funny names who believe in a country where anything is possible. Because we have a chance to elect someone who has spent her entire life trying to give people the same chances America gave her. Someone who sees you and hears you and will get up every single day and fight for you. The next president of the United States of America, Kamala Harris.
Former First Lady Michelle Obama also addressed the crowd. If polls are correct, she is one of the most favoured people in the country to hold the office of the President of the United States. But she refuses to do so, instead hoping to wield her influence to help Kamala Harris.
Why would we normalize that type of backward leadership? Doing so only demeans and cheapens our politics. It only serves to further discourage good, big-hearted people from wanting to get involved at all. America, our parents taught us better than that, and we deserve so much better than that. That's why we must do everything in our power to elect two of those good, big-hearted people. There is no other choice than Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. No other choice.
It's all about the momentum of this convention. They want to end the week strong and they want to carry that on when Harris is announcing new policies. They want to keep up the enthusiasm that they're hoping to stir up here in Chicago. Earlier in the evening, there was a slightly unexpected twist, with Donald Trump's former press secretary, Stephanie Grisham, addressing the crowd.
I saw him when the cameras were off. Behind closed doors, Trump mocks his supporters. He calls them basement dwellers. On a hospital visit one time when people were dying in the ICU, he was mad that the cameras were not watching him. He has no empathy, no morals, and no fidelity to the truth. He used to tell me, "It doesn't matter what you say, Stephanie. Say it enough and people will believe you." But it does matter. What you says matter, and what you don't say matters. On January 6th, I asked Melania if we could at least tweet that while peaceful protest is the right of every American, there's no place for lawlessness or violence. She replied with one word: no.
As Obama says, the fight for this election isn't over. And if the Democrats want to win, they're going to have to persuade a closely divided country that they're the best option. Faith Orr, Arise News, Chicago.
Well, let's cross live now to Chicago and speak with Arise International correspondent Faith Orr. Good to see you, Faith. So many big names at that convention, but it was the biggest too, as you pointed out in your package there. There was most anticipation for. I mean, of course, Barack and Michelle Obama, and they are two enormously popular figures, aren't they?
Yes, you're absolutely right. Hugely, hugely popular figures. We heard from Obama saying that the time is now, that America is ready for Kamala Harris and she is ready to be president. It was really a reminder of just how good a speaker he is. We've seen people today calling for him to have a third term in office. Of course, we know that's not possible, but that is just a reminder of how well received he is. He uses that power in his speech to push forward Kamala Harris last night. We also heard from Michelle Obama, again hugely popular in her own right. Now, when she had spoken in 2016, she said, "When they go low, we go high." She seems to have abandoned that. She really is losing patience with the Republican Party and with Donald Trump. She doesn't have the same rhetoric. She very much is, well, if they're going to do this, so are we, bring it on. But we know from sources around his campaign, that he viewed last night's speech as almost as important as the one he made 20 years ago, which actually ended up propelling him into the White House. So certainly a momentous occasion during this convention with those two big speakers last night.
Indeed, but beyond them, the delegates also had a chance to meet the second gentleman of the United States, Kamala Harris's husband, Douglas Emhoff, who could well become the country's first gentleman, couldn't he?
He could indeed, and he used his speech to humanise Kamala Harris. He spoke about when they first started dating and how he'd been so nervous. She got in his car and he just immediately admitted that he was a bad driver because he said, "You simply can't hide anything from Kamala Harris, so why try?" He also spoke about when he'd then followed up, he'd left her a voicemail, rambling voicemail at 8:30 in the morning. He says he had no idea what, made him call her at 8:30 a.m, but he did. She now makes him listen to that voicemail on every anniversary. But we did see him as well, touch on her achievements as a policymaker, how she deals with what he described as their blended family. So the professional as well as the personal from him.
And of course, more notable names still to come at that jamboree. What can we expect?
Exactly. Later on tonight, we are going to hear Tim Walz present his acceptance speech. He will be speaking after former President Bill Clinton. We're also going to hear from Nancy Pelosi tonight, as well as the Transport Secretary, Pete Buttigieg. Now, Pelosi's speech is expected to be one of the most closely watched of the convention. It is understood that she was one of the top Democrats pushing for Biden to step aside for Harris. So everyone will be wanting to know what she says tonight. She has been present at every night so far. She has been there showing her support. So all eyes on the stage when Pelosi gives her speech.
And this is, of course, all building up to Kamala Harris's big moment when she'll deliver her acceptance speech on Thursday. But she has appeared a couple of times already, but Thursday will be her crucial moment.
It will indeed. She will give her acceptance speech on Thursday. The ceremonial roll call that was held last night, where the delegates voted for her, said it went, down it brought the house down. So people are looking forward to hearing from her on Thursday night. Her and Tim Walz were absent last night. They were out campaigning, and I think that is a demonstration of just how closely and how seriously the Democrats are still taking this race, because even while the convention is happening, Kamala Harris, Tim Walz still out there. They were in Minnesota on a campaign stop, still trying to reach voters, still very concerned about how close things are here. But she will be back. We will hear from her tomorrow night, and of course Tim Walz, as I said, his acceptance speech tonight.
Absolutely, and you said, as you said, it's a very close race indeed, and I presume that Kamala Harris will be keeping at the back of her mind those protests that we've seen around the venue of that Democratic convention.
Exactly. We actually saw around 70 arrests last night. There were anti-war protesters outside the Israeli embassy. Things did get a bit violent with police. So around 70 people were arrested at that protest last night. In the vicinity of the convention centre itself, around half a mile away this morning, there was also a man arrested. He had been wanted for murder. It's not believed to be related to the convention. It just so happens that the restaurant he was holed up in is around a half a mile away from United Centre where this is all happening. So the SWAT team arrived around 4 p.m. yesterday. He was finally detained at around 7 a.m. local time this morning. Yesterday as well, we're seeing lots of security issues. For instance, the hotel that the Arise crew is staying in, there was a bomb threat issued to that hotel around noon yesterday.
Oh dear, I think we've lost that connection. The gremlins of technology have hit. Nevertheless, Faith, I understand we're back with you, but the line went a bit wonky there. But let me seize the opportunity to say thank you very much indeed for being our eyes and our ears at that Democratic National Convention. Faith Orr is Arise International correspondent. She was talking to me on the line there from Chicago.